Hi everyone, welcome back. It is your favorite interventional radiologist, Dr. Shanice Gilliard, and we are here with a very, very special episode, and I'm going to learn alongside everyone else, so please stay tuned for more.
I've been a caregiver since I was 16 years old, and when I came into that role, I had no idea how that emotional roller coaster would move throughout my life. Becoming a caregiver for my nephew who's autistic, becoming a caregiver for my mother who suffered with dementia, becoming a caregiver for my father-in-law with Alzheimer's, and ultimately a caregiver for my husband who really dealt with chronic diabetes. And the emotions of all of those engagements were very, very challenging. So I've always had to look at ways to relieve pressure and stress when in the caregiver role.
You've had a very long, longitudinal experience with caregiving, and in different phases of your life, I'm sure your needs were different and the needs of the people that you were caring for were different. But has there been anything overarching or a theme that you noticed that kind of helped you manage stress in all these very different, very challenging situations?
I think emotional intelligence for me was something I had to learn as I matured. And the emotional intelligence of understanding that you have to be calm and know how to bring yourself to a point of calm and understanding, specifically dealing with being a caregiver for individuals with dementia or Alzheimer's, understanding when to be gentle, patient, and also understanding how to feel what they feel and to bring them comfort in that moment when you're the caregiver and giving and they are the individual who is in need.
How did you find, especially with your mother who was suffering from Alzheimer's, how did you find space to care for her needs as an Alzheimer's patient, but also your needs as the dynamics of your relationship with your mother were changing?
We actually created a care plan. And in that care plan, each of us took a space of time during the year. Because I live in California, my brother was the primary caregiver. We would fly my mother to Los Angeles for a change of environment, put her around things that were very familiar to her, enjoying time with her grandchildren, and actually coaching our children on understanding how to be delicate with our parents and grandparents and making sure that they understood that sometimes it's not confusion, it's just time. And to take the time to listen to your grandparents, even when they may be speaking in a way that sounds confusing, but to teach our children and each other how to be patient became a mantra in my family. One of the things that I have dealt with most in the last year is the death of my husband. And my husband and I were together for 30 years. And amidst his caregiver plan, we had everything from the caregiver notebook. We pick up this notebook that is in the house in a resident area so that if we have to call an ambulance or go to the emergency room, then we already have the information that's needed, even if our emotional state doesn't allow us to communicate well. As far as grief, one of the things I looked at for my personal wellness was a therapist. Yeah. I actually secured a therapist about a year and a half before my husband passed away. Wow. And went on to secure a therapist for both of my sons who are adults. But we all recognized the need to understand what we were feeling. And mental health is an element of caregiving that I think many people overlook. And for us, it became very important not just to secure our own mental health, but to really share with others that it's okay to talk to each other about grief and the feelings that you feel and how they differ from, for me as a spouse, for my sons in losing their father, for my siblings who were very close to my husband. So mental health for us became a very, very big thing in the caregiving process in dealing with grief.
mental health is something that is still unfortunately very stigmatized as you're going through this very complex set of situations that are unfamiliar, that aren't talked about in families. There's a lot to process, dealing with a very sick loved one and then dealing with the grief and the aftermath.
Grief doesn't go away. You just have to learn how to deal with it. You have to learn how to embrace and celebrate all of the good things and really understand that a person may physically go, but you have to go into yourself, whether it's your religious base, whether it's those places of comfort that you have, and you really have to dig very, very deep in your faith and say, it's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay.